So as Trump and MAGA deal with the Epstein scandal, rising inflation and throwing immigrants into alligator Alcatraz, House Republicans are still stuck on former President Biden. Yeah. They called in Biden's doctor and Jill Biden's chief of staff to testify, who both took the fifth when they were asked about Biden's mental capacity in office. And Oversight Committee Chair James Comer just said who else he wants to haul in. Watch.
Do you agree that former Vice President Kamala Harris and the former First Lady should both be subpoenaed?
Well, I think they should have already issued statements. They should have already done public relations campaign to sit down and answer questions. We're moving up the line. So we've started with the lower level staffers that we think were the ones that actually put the documents in the auto pen and pressed power. But I think the possibility is very good that we'll be asking members of the family to come in and talk.
If members of the family are going to come in now. So with everything happening in the country right now, and you know what it is, right? You're following the news. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. What are they focusing on Joe Biden about? What? Oh,
I don't even understand.
Alyssa.
I'd love to hear from the Democrats. I have my own thoughts on this, but I'll say this. When they brought the doctor in of Biden's, I wasn't surprised he pled the fifth. There's HIPAA reasons, there's health reasons that he's not going to talk about things that are doctor-patient confidentiality. This individual, Anthony Bernal, was a senior advisor to the First Lady. These were the questions, some of the questions he pled the fifth to. Did you advise Biden to pardon Hunter? Was Biden fit to exercise his duties as president? Pled the fifth. Did any unelected official or family member execute duties of the president? Pled the fifth. Did Biden ever instruct you to lie about his health? Pled the fifth. That's making people want to ask even more questions. I'm sorry. And as a former government official who I've testified before Congress voluntarily and the Justice Department, there was never a moment that I thought about pleading the fifth because the taxpayers paid my salary. If they wanted an answer to a question about what I saw in government, I felt it was my duty
to
the country
to answer.
Because it sounds like they're hiding something. Those are pretty basic questions.
For me, I think this was a strategic way of making sure that you answer a subpoena, which you should. The Republicans did not answer subpoenas when the January 6th committee, many did not answer their subpoenas when the Republicans were called to testify. These people were called to testify. They were subpoenaed. I think the strategy was, I'm going to plead the fifth to everything, not just those, not just particular questions. And as a federal prosecutor, I saw that often. I saw that all the time. It's either you plead the fifth to just a few or you just plead the fifth to everything. So his testimony took about less than 30 minutes. But I will say this, this whole thing, taxpayers should be concerned about, because what they are investigating is Joe Biden's use of an auto pen to sign pardons. They're not investigating the January 6th pardons. They're not investigating anything like that. They're investigating the use of the auto pen. And according to the 2005 guidance from DOJ's Office of Legal Counsel, the president need not personally perform the physical act of affixing his signature to a bill he approves and decides to sign in order for the bill to become law. So the bottom line is the use of an auto pen is a big nothing burger, and they are wasting time and taxpayer dollars to do it. I think that's something that the American
people
should
know about. Is it a distraction? No.
Look, it's a few things. First of all, the auto pen. The auto pen has been used by presidents since Dwight Eisenhower.
Yes.
Second of all, Anthony Bernal. I know Anthony very well. Anthony was the highest level Latino in the White House. He also served in the Obama White House. He served in the Clinton White House. He is an extremely loyal, patriotic, good human being. I think that the reason that he pled the fifth on these things is because he thinks this is a circus, this is a sham, and he doesn't want to participate in it in any way. He's also getting horrible. Anthony is gay, and he is getting incredible homophobic hate sent to him, telling him he should consider committing suicide, telling him how much he's going to enjoy jail time because he's gay. Horrible, horrible things that anybody sending should be ashamed of. But look, I think Comer, who's the head of oversight in Congress, is going after Biden because he is not going after the things that are happening now in this country that require oversight. He's not going, they're not investigating the firing of the inspector generals in crucial departments. They're not investigating the signal gate mishandling. They're not investigating the lack of response by FEMA to catastrophes. They're not investigating the cuts at NOAA. You know what? One day Democrats will be in the minority, and I hope they do this in the majority, and I hope they do the same.
I think that I do think these ceremonial hearings are a waste of money. So if I were in their place, I would plead the fifth just for fun. I would even like talk to someone and come back and then plead the fifth. I would just keep doing that personally because I'd be so annoyed. But I think the Democrats are missing the whole point here because a lot of times when you talk about this topic, they say, oh, that's the past, let's move on, all this stuff. There was a trust issue with voters. We're watching it happen right now and love talking about it on the right. The GOP is splitting. They trusted the Trump administration on the Epstein files. They're not getting that. Some other people trusted him on immigration and they're not getting that. So we're watching these voters kind of ears perk up and, oh my gosh, we're kind of breaching. There was a trust broken when President Biden did the debate and people saw things and said, oh my gosh, but this concerns me. And everyone said, shut up, you're disloyal, don't talk.
Yeah.
No one wanted to hear it. The problem here is not what's going on with President Biden or his family or anything else. You're right, that's the past. But if elected Democrats do not recognize that they should concede that point when voters talk about it, they should be able to concede, we understand your concern, it was legitimate, and then move on.
Right.
It will never stop being talked about.
Okay, but go ahead.
Can I say one other thing
Really
on this,
fast.
though? We talk a lot about institutions and why they matter and democracy and why it's important to uphold. And we all agree we're in a polarized and very frictious moment. We agree there are things unprecedented that Donald Trump has done and that this Congress has. I have no doubt that there's a partisan bent to this committee. But if you believe in institutions and if you think that this country is bigger than the 3.5 years that we're living in, then you should show up, you should comply if it's under subpoena, you should do it voluntarily if not, and you should answer questions because the taxpayer paid your salary. Joe Biden did not pay his salary, and they have a right to know the answer to basic questions like, did any unelected official or family member execute the duties of the president? That's a really easy
All right, what
question
I
to
wanna
answer.
know-
And by the way, and I also want to say, I also got threats from the right and the left. I also had people saying I was being disloyal for going in because I was talking about Trump, and I had people on the left attacking me that ever worked there. That is the job you sign up for when you get to work in the highest office of the land.
That's why I don't get asked to do that, because I would sit there and be fussy about the fact they were even asking.
All right, I want to go back to Trump for a second because I have questions about him and his, what shall we call it? Yeah, let's watch this.
Cognitive decline?
Here he is the other day talking about Fed Chief Jerome Powell. Watch this.
He's a terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed. I was surprised, frankly, that Biden put him in and extended him.
Okay, he said Biden nominated this guy, right? Okay, now watch this.
It is my pleasure and my honor to announce my nomination of Jerome Powell to be the next chairman of the Federal Reserve. Congratulations.
Okay. Short-term memory loss? What? What are we going to call that?
Someone should have shown him the video.
But you know what?
And will there be an oversight committee investigating
You know,
that?
there could be, and there should be. If folks in Congress are concerned about what you were talking about, there could be and should be a bipartisan legislation that requires exams by a panel of experts of a president's cognitive abilities or lack thereof in this case.
Or how about an age limit? Do you think that would work? Although some people at that age are perfectly
I don't
fine.
think you
Age
could-
isn't always
I don't
the
thi-
indicator,
yeah, I don't think
but
age
it's
is-
not wrong in the life we've led this far and when the average lifespan is that people raise that concern.